Good morning, welcome to the Come Join Us podcast. I'm this morning with Martin Moore, which is Cellar Master at Durbanville Hills. I'm not going to talk too much about Durbanville Hills from my side. Martin's going to tell us all the wonderful stories about the amazing brand. Sweet and short, we're in the Cape yet again. And Martin, it's lovely being here with you. I know we always chat in Afrikaans, so it's a little bit tricky doing an article in English.
Slightly awkward.
Yeah, slightly awkward, but we'll concentrate very hard and trying to bring you the best. Martin, it's lovely being here. Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't seen you for a long time. Yeah.
I've been trying to figure out how many years ago we did the first one.
I think, well, we started 7 years ago now.
7 years ago.
And then you, I think our Durbanville Hills I did was in the 3rd year or so. So we've been going strong for a good 4 or 5 years, eh? And now you've relaunched a lot of brands and so forth as well. But tell us, I mean, for the people outside South Africa, what is Durbanville Hills all about?
Well, the way we came about was that these farmers used to sell their grapes to the big companies. The KWB, I think the DGB got some.
Quite a few of the big guys.
The DGB, SFW, the old Distillers Corporation. I think the KGB might have had some. But so they never added value. There was very little or very, very small volumes that actually went into the bottle, roughly 7%. So Durbanville was fairly unknown.
Yes.
Outside of the industry, but the industry knew the quality of the grapes here.
Yes.
And about 25 years ago, a lot of the smaller players came in and they started picking pockets, buying it from the farmers.
Okay.
And then the farmers realized that they're actually sitting on very good quality and the bigger companies weren't giving them the credit for it.
Yeah, just to give people's perspective, where is all your pockets based so that they know exactly?
Well, we're sitting here about 9 kilometers from Table Bay side, the west coast on that side, and then on the other side of the valley, it's about 28 kilometers to False Bay. So we've got
cool climate completely.
You're basically sitting on a peninsula, because you've got ocean that side, and that side.
Okay.
And but the main factor is False Bay side, the cold southeaster that comes in, that keeps our grapes healthy, cools everything down. So this is very well known as cool climate.
Fantastic.
And that is why a lot of the players started coming in, especially obviously of going after Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes.
And but then the farmers realized that they must add value. So a couple of them started talking to each other about building a cellar. But the problem with this quality grapes is you can't just build a co-op style cellar. You've got to build a cellar that can do justice. And so eventually they struck the deal with Distillers Corporation as a joint venture, which then became, after the merger, obviously Distill. And we've been going, 21st vintage was this year.
21st, yeah.
21st, so I've been here 21 years. Oldest piece of equipment in the cellar. And
the best one as well.
and then the deal is basically that we go from procurement, production, viticulture, winemaking, up to bottling.
Yes.
And then Distill does sales, distribution and marketing.
Okay.
And the way that I've been traveling, I've been busy with sales, distribution and marketing.
Yeah, you travel mostly in winter time, hey?
Yeah, well, we can't travel in harvest time.
No. Well,
But it's sort of mid-May, then my diary becomes someone else's diary. And then we start going.
You see, yeah. And where do you go all over?
Well, this year we had a big launch of the Reserve Range in Dubai.
Yes.
Which was very exciting. We basically did a tour there with, I think it was 11 Land Cruisers.
That's amazing.
In
Through
Dubai.
The dunes.
And we had a little bit through the dunes, but it was actually in Dubai because we've got the Cableway Chardonnay.
Oh, lovely.
And what we've done here is we on your launch we did a tour with people, taking them to all the, like the Mully Point Lighthouse and all of that. So what we did over there was they've got a cableway, very old, rundown, but we did one dish with a cableway Chardonnay at that venue that you could see the cableway.
That's so cool.
They couldn't really recreate a lighthouse, but we went up to, I think, the 15th story of a hotel to give that lighthouse effect. And with each of the wines, we actually went, like the Shannon Cape Gardens, we went there to a very, very good hotel. I think it was called Vintage. to their garden and launched it there. So it was, the whole thing was around the labels.
Amazing.
Where the wine selling in Cape Town, we tried to redo it in Dubai.
But tell us now about the labels. How did it all start? And your
Okay.
reserve range itself.
When we started off, the cellar was designed for the Hills range.
Okay.
So that was a lot of
That's mostly Sauvignon Blanc. And
yeah, but that was sitting down with engineers and say like, we've got this equipment they're using boutique cellars.
Yes.
I need a big one.
Okay.
Like with Italy, for instance, all the other tanks were made locally, but the red one fermenters came in from Italy because they had the automatic pump with all the technology on them. And I think the biggest ones they were making at that stage was 20,000 litres,
Yeah.
and we wanted 60,000. So the first thing the Italian says, can do, he said, oh, you must do. And so we've got them. So everything in the cellar is basically was upscale
Okay.
of equipment. We've got the advantage of scale. So a lot of the equipment that we have here, the smaller guys can't afford because they're not going to use it enough to justify it. So after a couple of years we had, the Hills range is, in South Africa is everywhere.
Yes.
And it's got a heck of a good reputation. So that we felt that we put that one in bed, although it will always be our bread and butter. So that takes a lot of work in harvest time. But we had a reserve range, the running fields, which we had to explain to people for hours.
Oh, it is.
It was really, it was just too complicated for them. And then we had the 3 so-called single vineyard ones. But what happened in the beginning is the first year we planted, because I wanted to make a top-end Bordeaux blend in the area, because of our climate.
Yes.
So we planted back in 98 to 99.
Sorry,
According to road direction.
Sorry, it was a personal joke. Martin always tells about it because you used to go and work in France. Sorry. So he says Bordeaux. But anyways, yeah, continue.
But they, so we planted there, and most of the vines in the area, the farmers were very afraid of erosion.
Okay.
So everything follows the contours, which is not always the best for sun movement.
Okay.
So on those vineyards we specifically went and planted according to sun movement. And only in 2012 I was confident and said, okay, now we can start utilizing these grapes. We've also contracted a small farm in the middle of the valley, which is not one of our farms. And he's got, it's a hobby for his wife, she makes him a little bit of wine. But they planted, it looks like a garden. Each and every vine is the same, small little farm. So we get Cabernet Franc, Malbec, Merlot, Petit Verdot from him as well. But in order then, when I was confident enough at that stage, that's when we brought out Tangram, which is our really top-end wine. It sells for about 980 Rand a bottle, and it's sold out.
Yeah.
It's sold out. We're bottling again, or we're releasing, we leave it in the bottle for at least a year, so we're releasing again now, I think in November, the next lot.
Yeah. And what varieties is that altogether?
It's Cabernet Sauvignon based, and then we played around, because we blend, we don't follow recipes. So, the first year was up to 90% of it was just Cabernet and Merlot. I think it was 60-30 if I remember right, and the other 10 was made up of the other varietals. Okay. But something like Malbec is.
Do you like Malbec?
1 extra percent of it, it changes the whole blend.
Totally.
So
it's a under. We don't have it here often. I mean, it's a typical.
There's a couple of them coming onto the market now.
Yes,
but some of them are wild. I mean, it's a wild.
I spoke to Badger, and Badger says they're bringing it in now. They're starting with it. So it's quite interesting.
It's a wild kid.
Is it?
Yeah. What we do with the blend on Tangram is, I always say it's like the old radios.
Yeah.
Where you turn the knob and it goes zzz, you get a station, and then change the blend, you go zzz, you get another station.
Serious.
And then you've got to decide which station is the one that you want, and then you've got to fine tune.
And you literally just put 1% in and it changes the wine completely.
Especially something like Malbec, it changes your whole makeup of the wine.
It's insane.
So, so we brought out Tangram, and we pretty much made that by hand because the cellar is designed for Hills volumes. Yes. So the presses are too big. So the first thing that we had to do, we bought a little basket press. Yes. The next year we bought a little crusher. So we basically built a small cellar within the big cellar, and that is very important for the Hill of the collector's range as well. Okay. That we needed smaller equipment. Okay. So it's a scale down I told the winemakers to be careful what they wish for, because
It's very labor
on the reds now 1 ton tubs, hand punch downs.
Oof,
So
intensive.
so it's intense. It's on the collectors range we utilize smaller red wine fermenters where we can draw off juice to do concentration. So there's but I think at the time we're so on top of the hills, making the hills range at this stage, that from a winemaking perspective, I think my team needed something as a challenge,
Of course.
and really wine making in the nitty-gritty,
within
because
the cellar.
with the hills we can't really.
You've got a recipe.
You've got a style that you've got to stick to. If the market changes, we change the style. But if on our Sauvignon Blanc, for instance, in 2005, we changed totally in the vineyards because everyone was moving away from that green pepper flavor,
Yes.
and they wanted tropicals.
Yeah.
Now the first thing, you've got to fix it outside. So that's a deliberate change that we made because the market demanded it. But
Yes, it's insane actually that you can sort of.
that you've got to spend time in the market to figure it out.
Yes.
Because I was in Canada, but I've heard it quite a few times over here that people also talk about acidity and this itch.
Yes.
Sometimes some Sauvignons, if you swallow that, you get this little and I picked it up in Canada that the people were asking me about Sauvignon Blanc in general,
Yes.
doing that. I know exactly what it is. It's methoxypyrazine, which is a green pepper flavor, and malic acid, the combination of it.
Yes.
Now, fortunately, both of those are destroyed by sunlight and heat.
Lucky for us.
So we just started farming vineyards more open, get
Yes.
more sunlight in,
Yes.
broke both of them down, and then you also get your precursor flavors for the tropicals develop in the vineyard because of sunlight. So quick fix out there with Mr. Sun on top.
Fantastic. Good to go.
I was down in New Zealand and some of the Kiwis asked me, because they're getting feedback, a lot of feedback on their wines, that people can't really drink more than 2 glasses. I mean, they're just too powerful.
Acid is a big thing.
And acid there is big.
Yeah. I know.
So they asked me what we did. And I told them I can tell him, but it's going to be like telling a guy to go and sit next to a fire if it's cold, but there's no fire burning. So they can break open, but the sun is not intense enough. So,
Yeah.
but it was quite exciting. So when we launched the Tangram range, which is the white and red, suddenly we had hills, the Rhino Fields here, and Tangram.
Yes.
So it didn't make sense. So we needed something higher up in the middle, and that is where the Collectors Reserve Range came in.
Okay, great. And tell us about what was the whole collaboration with the artist. You can see there's the labels of the Collectors Reserve, and this is the lovely Merlot, which you're also very famous for.
We were looking at obviously something familiar to people with Durbanville, but also that they can see this is a reserve.
Okay.
So from the beginning, I just said, let's not make the mistake again and just get reserve in the name.
Okay.
So eventually we came up with Collectors Reserve,
Yes.
and the guy who does our labels, we were sitting here with a lot of these agencies and clever people, and they just couldn't give us a concept that we really were excited about. And then he came out with it, because at that time we became Wine of Origin Cape Town.
Oh yeah, so that's something we need to chat about as
So
well.
we you'll later today, it's going to be a vibe here again, like you won't believe it. Friday we got this wine down.
Wine on Fridays.
Oh,
Best.
that's crazy. And then you really get the vibe of Cape Town.
Yes.
This place is alive and it's a buzz. And so we started talking about this is a place where city culture meets viticulture.
Yeah,
And,
that's cool.
And then he started talking, he said, but he tasted the wines, he said, Jesus, for him this is pure art. He said he knows that a lot of people have done it before, but why don't we link art to art? And he, at the time, he already had the artist in mind. And so eventually we started talking about Cape Town, for instance, with Mully Point, with the lighthouse. I always wanted to do something with the lighthouse, because
Stunning.
from the top here at night, you can see on an island, Mully
Yes.
Point, and the one in Milnerton, which is not
You can see
always
all
on.
the lights, yeah.
So you've got 3 lighthouses that you see from here.
Yes, see.
So I always wanted to do something with the lighthouse. And because Merlot is so influenced by maritime climate,
Yes.
immediately we said, okay, Mully Point Lighthouse, that's the one it's on.
Then what's on the rest of them?
A lot of them, we actually, it just came about. Like, they asked me about Chardonnay, and I said, well, it's very dependent on upwards and downwards movement of warm and cold air.
Okay.
And what goes up and down in Cape Town?
Yes.
The cableway.
Yeah, of course.
So immediately when we started doing up and down, immediately someone said, that's a cableway.
Exactly.
Sauvignon Blanc, we went for the Cape Mist, which is a phenomenon, so it's not always a structure, it's
Yes.
a Cape Mist. Chenin Blanc was logical, the company gardens, because that's where the first child of Chenin was planted.
Really?
So
I see.
back to its roots.
So nice.
And
it
then,
synergizes.
On Shiraz, with that flintiness that you get,
Yes.
immediately Noongan,
Of course.
that
Yeah.
flintiness. Theo tasted the wine, he likes wine as well, the artist.
Okay,
He
that
likes his
helps.
wines. And he tasted it, he said, but he gets a lot of spice on the wine. So immediately he brought in the Cape Malay quarters behind the cannon. So all of these things have got a tweak to them. The castle, the cab was the solid old building in Cape Town.
Yeah.
The fort cab is the so-called strong one.
Yeah.
So immediately we said, okay, Castle of Good Hope.
Fabulous.
Theo said, artist, that building is not only the oldest, it's also the ugliest. So you put a huge Cape Mountain lion in front of it, you just see the two sides of the.
I've seen it, yeah,
You
yeah.
just see the
It's
two sides of
stunning.
the castle, which is quite fun. And then
What do we have there?
the Pinotage one
Yeah.
is very interesting.
I think you've got it here. Is it Boulders
Yeah.
Beach?
It's
You'll see it
it's
here.
not boulders. It's
It's
actually
not Boulders.
it's a promenade.
Oh, it's the promenade. Yes, of course.
Yeah, but he's
Seapoint Promenade. Why that?
well, we've got the best pocket Pinotage that we have is in the back.
Okay.
And I've got a story that say that a good Pinotage wants to see the ocean. So immediately, where do people in Cape Town go to see the ocean? They go to the promenade. But he brought in the penguins because if it was.
That's why it's so Boulders.
Yeah, but he said, have you seen how cool the penguins are? One's got a camera, the one's got a little
Yeah,
rucksack,
it's so sweet. They're all.
sunglasses.
Yeah. You have to buy this wine to see these kind of things. There, you can see it a little bit there.
But
Awesome.
he brought in the penguins because if you brought in people,
Yeah,
then there was, why is there more of the one gender than the other, race issues,
exactly. Yeah.
sexual preferences.
Yeah, so we put everything
Why
in.
is there not one in a wheelchair? So
Yeah.
he said, penguins. So it's been very exciting for us with the range. And but launching it was absolutely fun.
Yeah, I can just imagine. How did you launch it?
Well, in Cape Town, the international guys, we actually took them on a tour
Yes.
of all the wines. We actually went
You
to.
went to every single
everyone.
spot. That
And,
is amazing. Yeah.
We didn't go up the cableway because with the time constraint. I don't think people realize how long it actually takes to get around Cape Town.
Massive. Yeah.
But we did a very formal video with Theo on the wines, and then myself and my team decided that we're going to make an informal one as well. So we took our own tour with our own take on it, and that was pretty hilarious.
So fun. Funny. So Martin, I know you mentioned something wine of the Cape. So what does that mean? What is that new
Well,
to us?
We were part of a bigger area. It's only ourselves in Philadelphia, which was
Yes.
Tigerberg. Now Tigerberg is
Okay.
a non-entity. No one markets Tigerberg,
Yeah.
so there was no sense in it. And there's a lot of, if you look at the Tigerberg area, there's a lot of wheatlands in between. So we've approached the guys from Constantia in the beginning and said, and I had an agreement that we should speak to the Wine and Spirits Board because there's a lot more similarity between everyone on the Atlantic seaboard. So they did research on it. The Wine and Spirits Board, they came and to look at soil, temperatures, similarities,
Yes.
and then said, okay, it makes a lot of sense to link us all the way down to Cape Point, including Hout Bay,
Yes.
Constantia, Philadelphia ourselves, and then all the way down to Good Hope,
Okay.
to Cape Point. And that was then declared wine of origin Cape Town. Now, the local market, it doesn't have that much impact because people know Durbanville by now.
Yes.
But on the international market,
Massive.
immediately if they pick up Cape Town, I saw it in Dubai that you go Durbanville and
No idea. But
No
Cape
way.
Town, they don't.
nobody say Cape Town, then they're there. So internationally, it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Tell me, I know that you love your Chardonnays and your Merlots,
Sauvignon?
Sauvignon and your Sauvignon. It's always difficult asking a winemaker what's your favorite wine because it's like choosing your favorite child.
Yeah, that's my standard answer. I always ask him, so what's your favorite child?
Yeah,
And,
it's tricky. But what do you really enjoy making? What if I can put you on an island and I tell you, Martin, I'm going to leave you now here, but you're allowed to make one wine and drink one wine only, what would it be?
It would be Sauvignon Blanc and Merlot.
Okay, there we go.
One wine.
One wine.
Now, I think Sauvignon Blanc for us is it's because it's so unforgiving. If you make a mistake, it's going to hit you on the fingers, quality goes down. So the precision that we have there, especially picking time, that is extremely important to pick on a flavor profile and heat the right spot. Because it's been proven, we always knew it, but it's technology now that proved that you go through different phases with ripening.
Okay.
That you get flavor, your first batch of flavor, then there's a lull, and then you get to different other set of flavors.
Yes.
Now if you pick it in the middle here, you're nowhere. Then you're sitting with the dull wines. So that's a challenge. I spent a lot of time out in the vineyards in harvest time getting it. The guys in the cellar is meticulous. Cobus is crazy when it gets to Sauvignon Blanc. It goes into a...
So it's a very tricky...
It's unforgiving.
Yeah.
Everything's got to be right, and then it's rewarding. And then Merlot for me, with cool climate Merlot, we've got long hang time. So you don't have sugar levels that run away.
Yes.
That you're sitting with a dull, high alcohol, no fruit
Yeah.
situation. And we've got a couple of tricks that we worked out over the year with Merlot. Because a lot of winemakers say, Merlot, boring.
Yeah, but you've got an interesting Merlot, because your Merlot is here now with the cool climate as well. In which I find it's really a fantastic Merlot. I enjoy your Merlot, I must say. And funny enough, your Pinotage. Pinotage is that love-hate relationship. You either love it or you hate
but
it.
we're sitting now, they've got a new road that they're going to open one of these days. Then we're going to be even closer to the airport. If you go past here, in front of the cellar,
Yes.
There's a road going left,
Yes.
and it goes straight to the airport.
Yes.
So we're finding now more and more that this looks like an airport. Because people come in here with a little...
Totally, and it's one,
You
two,
can
three,
see this
yeah.
luggage, they've got luggage with them on their way to the airport, and there's a nice stop for them just before they get
Totally,
there.
yeah.
But even with our guests that we get from overseas, they very often go up to Kruger National Park or one of the fancy ones up there,
Yes.
and then they come down to the Cape. But now they've been exposed to wines up there that they buy,
Yes.
and we often find that from international guys, they come here and they say, the moment you get to Pinotage, they go,
Yeah.
And I tell them, wait, taste
Just
it.
try it. Yeah.
Just try it. And then they all go, but this is totally different.
Different.
We like this. And that's the difference you get with Pinotage. Unfortunately, with the parents being Pinot Noir and Cinsault, in warm climate it falls over to the Cinsault parent, which is that rustic, I can't really live with them. When in cool climate it falls towards the Pinot Noir parent, where it's more subtle, more
Softer, yeah.
more of your berry fruit and
Yeah.
none of those acetone and banana flavors that you get
Also
from...
enjoys a lot of cool climates as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with these it was quite easy. With the Pinotage it was easy to identify where we're going to make this from. We've got my favorite block on the other side, open to the west coast. And we always find that we were picking from the top to the bottom. We always found that the first tank is much better than the other two, although the other two are great. And so when we got to Collectors Reserve, the challenge was to go out there and say, okay, where do we source the grapes?
Yes.
Pinotage I knew, there's something on top of that block that's different.
Yes.
So we eventually went and looked at different soil type. So that was very easy we know where to pick the Sauvignon from, or the Pinotage from. It was more difficult with Merlot and Shiraz. Our favorite blocks there are quite big and flat. So you can't see spots, but you can. I looked up for help. There's a satellite with a program called Fruit Loop.
And they had a look at everything for you.
What they do is they do multispectral photography, and you register your blocks. They come over here every Friday. So by about Monday, I've got the results. What they do is they take, it was developed for maize farming, the likes of maize farming, where the farmers look at the colours of the maize to know when to irrigate. And then the wine industry got involved in showing interest. But what we do is it gives you canopy density in different colours. So you can actually see where your more dense spots are and where your less dense spots are. And then go and taste the grapes in those. Although it's in the same block, if you pick the whole block, you actually lose them. They will probably
you lose those flavours.
They will pull up your quality.
Yeah.
But it's not that you really utilize them by taking them out.
And they are.
And that's what we've done with Fruit Loop, which was quite tricky.
So it's pocket dependent, pretty much.
It's pockets. And
Yeah. That's amazing.
with
the
a trailer,
technology
with a
that
trailer
you do
system
that.
in a vineyard,
Yes.
it's not that easy to find the spots.
Yes,
Because if you walk down this road,
yes,
and the spot is just 4 rows down,
yeah,
you either got to climb over or go back out and go in again.
yes.
So I've asked the farmers, please, any trees near a vineyard, leave it there, because I can find the spots a lot easier if I can see there's a tree there. So that's how we identify the spots on the others. The one that we didn't do the same, because on most of the collectors' wines, reserve range, it's pretty much snapshot of the top of the Pinotage vineyard, and that's where it comes from.
Yes,
And I just knew from the beginning with Sauvignon Blanc, you'll never do justice by a snapshot of a Sauvignon Blanc in one of our best blocks.
yes,
So we selected 2 blocks on the side here, one on the valley floor in the middle, one very high up in gravel, and then one older clones on the top of Morganstone on southern contours.
yes.
So it was very good pockets over the valley,
Mm,
and then blended together.
fantastic.
So that was quite a bit of a challenge, because there's so many styles that you can go to
Yes.
with Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
But I think with this whole range, we felt that we're going to go less new gold and slightly more classical.
Mm.
And if you taste the wines, they're all, I mean, the Chenin,
Can I have a taste?
yeah,
We've been talking about it now, and I haven't tasted it.
that's the Pinot.
Die coffee mocha.
Magic.
It's typical your Pinot. That's why I love your Pinot. Martin, I know you're a big family fan.
Yep.
And your son's playing cricket, eh?
Yeah, the
Cricket
oldest
and
one is, they both played first team cricket and rugby.
Okay.
Oldest one is now at grade 11. He's got another year to go.
Yeah.
He's this fun cricketer, also
Yeah.
plays first team,
But enjoys it.
he enjoys it, but his focus is actually on rugby.
Okay.
He's been over in Italy. The school gave him a bit of grace, so he started school later this year. So he played in Italy for 2 years,
Yes.
after 2 months. And the oldest one's just back. He was playing cricket down in Christchurch in New Zealand.
Jeez. So big sport guys. But
Yeah.
you're also a sportsman on your day. Loved your rugby.
Played rugby for way too long.
Martin's actually going to my home valley, Robertson, this weekend.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night they're having a big reunion of their what did you say? 1988 Cup they won. So I'm actually, it's going to be my most fun, I'm sure, especially in the Robertson Valley.
I hope we don't make the papers for all the wrong reasons.
That's funny. But listen, I think our time is running out. There's so much more we can chat about. We're doing an event in October together, and we'll be advertising that soon as well. And thank you very much. It's always lovely being
always
here,
fun.
and we really look forward to tasting your reserve ranges as well. Yes, and if you see it on the shelves, try it and look at the beautiful pictures. They all got different beautiful artists on them as well. So from my side, thank you very much for joining in, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.